First, First Amendment protects freedom of religion. First Amendment protects freedom of religion, speech, press, assembly, and petition. It ensures individuals can express themselves freely, practice any religion, and criticize the government without fear of retribution. 2. Second Amendment grants the right to keep and bear arms. 3. Third Amendment prevents the government from forcing citizens to house soldiers in their homes during peacetime, reflecting historical context from when colonial Americans were compelled to quarter British soldiers. 4. Fourth Amendment protects against unreasonable searches and seizures. It requires law enforcement to have a warrant, supported by probable cause, to conduct searches and seize property. 5. Fifth Amendment establishes rights related to legal proceedings, no double jeopardy, being tried twice for the same crime, protection against self-incrimination, and the requirement of due process. 6. Sixth Amendment guarantees a fair trial. It includes the rights to a speedy trial, an impartial jury, to be informed of charges, to confront witnesses, and to have legal counsel. 7. Seventh Amendment civil cases or lawsuits based on disagreements between people or businesses have a right to be decided by a jury in federal court. 8. Eighth Amendment prohibits excessive bail and fines as well as cruel and unusual punishment, ensuring justice is administered in a humane manner. 9. Ninth Amendment safeguarding individual liberties that might not be explicitly mentioned. The government cannot take away rights of the American people that are not specifically listed in the U.S. Constitution. 10. Tenth Amendment states that powers not given to the federal government or prohibited to the states by the Constitution are reserved to the states or the people. It serves to define the balance of power between the federal government and the states. 13th. Ending slavery and involuntary servitude. 14th Amendment addressing citizenship rights and equal protection under the law. It granted citizenship to all persons born or naturalized in the United States, which included former slaves. 15th Amendment, it grants the right to vote for all male citizens regardless of their ethnicity or prior slave status. Dred versus Scott. The Dred Scott case established that enslaved people were not considered citizens of the United States and therefore could not sue in federal court. Miranda versus Arizona. The Fifth Amendment requires that law enforcement officials advise suspects of their right to remain silent and to obtain an attorney during interrogations while in police custody. Plessy versus Ferguson. The Plessy versus Ferguson case established the legal principle of separate but equal, meaning that racial segregation laws were constitutional as long as the facilities provided for Black Americans were equal to those provided for white people, effectively upholding the legality of Jim Crow laws across the American South. Brown v. Board of Education equals. In this milestone decision, the Supreme Court ruled that separating children in public schools on the basis of race was unconstitutional. It signaled the end of legalized racial segregation in the schools of the United States, overruling the separate but equal principle set forth in the 1896 Plessy versus Ferguson case. Roe versus Wade legalized abortion. The Supreme Court decided that the right to privacy implied in the 14th Amendment protected abortion as a fundamental right. Separate but equal opened door for segregation. Violated 14th Amendment. Article 1 of the LEJ covers the legislative branch, responsible for making laws. This branch is divided into two parts, typically a Senate and a House of Representatives. Members are elected to represent citizens and draft legislation, approve budgets, and perform oversight on the executive. Article 2 outlines the executive branch, which enforces the laws. It is headed by the president or prime minister, depending on the system. This branch is responsible for implementing legislation, conducting foreign policy, and serving as commander-in-chief of the military. Article 3 establishes the judicial branch, tasked with interpreting laws. It consists of courts, including a Supreme Court or Constitutional Court, which ensure laws comply with the Constitution. This branch resolves legal disputes and can review actions or laws to ensure they align with constitutional principles. Each branch has checks and balances over the others to prevent any one group from becoming too powerful, ensuring a separation of powers within the government structure. As of October 2023, the current U.S. Supreme Court justices are 1. John G. Roberts, Jr., Chief Justice. 2. Clarence Thomas. 3. Stephen Breyer. 4. Samuel A. Alito, Jr. 5. Sonia Sotomayor. 6. Elena Kagan. 7. Neil